Welcome back to another Underrated. This is Lost in the World and thanks for joining us. The reason I like to do these type of reviews is to avoid the hype train, the rush to get out a review for views or clicks. I want to give a proper analysis of a game once the hype or hate has died down. It's a style that allows me to approach a game with a clear head, having thought about the intricacies or lack thereof that the game offered. We use a 60-40 weighted average of critic score versus user score to set the bar from which we decide if the game is over or underrated. The Metacritic score for Ghost is 83 and the user rating is 92, giving the game a weighted score of 86.8%, let's just call it 87%. So now we have the rating, let's go. Welcome to Overrated or Underrated, Ghost of Tsushima Edition. What is Ghost and what is it about? Ghost is an open world samurai game by Sucker Punch, the team that brought you the Infamous series. But this game could not feel any different to the Infamous games, even if you threw in an Uzumaki Naruto with 100,000 Kage Bunshin no Jutsus all over the place. But it isn't just any open world game. Ghost feels like a beautifully subtle revolution of the classic open world formula. The storytelling is fantastic and beautifully enacted. The overall theme of Ghost is that of tradition versus forging a new path, and it's told with real weight and sentiment. The way the people and world of Tsushima opens up to you is fluid and so seamless. It feels like the island is literally guiding you and talking to you. There's no map markers, there's no follow this path here and there. It's the winds, the birds, the foxes, the random strangers at bonfires, telling you epic tales and letting your mind wonder as to what rewards there will be. I highly recommend you do every mythic quest here because they are memorable as hell and fantastically animated. All of this helps Tsushima feel like a living, breathing island for which you're responsible. Even something as mundane as the classic open world quest of clearing enemy bases is tied into the story here. The Mongols are killing farmers and destroying farms to starve the island into defeat. You can free whole sections of the island by killing the Mongols at the occupied farms. It feels like something that could be so dull in another open world game is a pivotal part of your overall mission here to free the island, and it's almost your duty to free the island and the farmers. I literally cleared the whole map, and I've never done that in any open world game before, so if it's good enough for me. Almost every corner of the world seems to provide some kind of upgrade, from bamboo strikes that increase your resolve, or to fox shrines that unlock new equipment or abilities. And even haiku podiums, which don't. The story is a great mix of a real-life event, the first Mongol invasion of Japan, and fiction. You are the head of Clan Sakai with your uncle, and you rule the island of Tsushima at the peak of the samurai's power, defending your land from the Mongol invasion. The opening sequence is, for me, one of the best opening sequences of any game I've ever played. I mean, it hits you right in the feels so hard that I'm pretty certain that the feels meme was made just for this moment. I mean, have you seen this? The blending in of Japanese mythic lore with mythic quests are a fantastic touch. These lead to the very definition of epic boss fights and epic gear. Slowly the game begins to challenge you, both narratively and combat-wise. Do you stick to your honourable samurai ways, or do you turn the odds in your favour by embracing the ghost? Now, don't get me wrong, your choices don't affect the story in any way, which is a shame, but it's a great way of encapsulating the wider reading discussion Jin's uncle is having with Jin throughout the game about honour, duty, and family. Although it's a shame that your actions don't affect the story, it's good to have that battle playing out in the player's mind itself, I mean, I really didn't want to use the ghost powers, but sometimes they were just too damn awesome to turn down. I love the samurai mechanics, but it's a hell of a lot of fun poisoning a huge axe guy from a million miles away and watching him butcher all his own men while you just hide in some bushes. There are a variety of brilliant characters in the game. They don't feel like standard quest givers whatsoever. Each has their own unique story and personality, showing how the other side live in Tsushima. Something that opens Jin's eyes to life away from being a lord. There are still a few I need to finish and I can't wait to go back to them. Some are hilarious, some are really moving. This is coming from someone, by the way, who never does side quests in these type of games. In this game, there was not one I didn't want to complete. I just wanted to know how these people's stories finished, where their path took them. From the monk to the funny tradesman, from the legendary archer to the harrowing story of a mother whose sons went to war. They don't feel like filler because you don't have to do them, but they do feel like a sum of the world you are living in, and that almost makes them as essential as they can be without actually feeling essential. I can't talk about the story without talking about the fantastic ending which brings the story full circle. The decision you are left with at the end was beautifully done. The choices you were asked to make was not one I was expecting to have to make at all. It really shows that Sucker Punch understood the era and the culture from which the game derives its greatness. Tying all of the above together is the combat. The combat is as challenging as it is engaging and skillful. It feels like a Bloodborne / Sekiro-like clone, not as punishing but with the opportunities for real skill. The feeling you get when you perfect parry or dodge and backstab someone from the side is so good. The ghost weapons all feel incredible while also feeling like a betrayal of your samurai way. From the smoke bombs and the black powder bombs to the confusion darts and the flaming arrow. The stealth mechanics are great. It also feels great to plot and distract enemies to create openings in the enemy's defense. For some it might be a little bit too Assassin's Creedy, and when I first saw the trailers I definitely felt it was for me, but playing the game it definitely feels different. Creating unique combos and killing sprees, everything is upgradable and the combat evolves brilliantly. I won't even touch on Ghost Mode, whose activation moment is absolutely baller and very, very memorable. Finally, graphically the game is a wonder. Beautiful reds and yellows paint the landscape full of life. The leaves fall and blow around you, the animals guide you through the forest, the blood splatters against the snow. The game drips authenticity like the blood drips from your sword after you kill a bandit. The way the sword is wiped clean and clicks into your hilt after you dispatch someone just oozes class. The immersion here is top draw. You are truly lost in the world. Criticisms. Well, I'm going to say it straight up. A lot of the criticisms I read of this game are number one, doo-doo. Now,
oh my God! See what's happening here is we're gonna get yelling and
we're gonna get yelling.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to put a timer.
Real honestly here, I wanted to actually dislike this game, which is a terrible thing to say. But I have a friend who consistently trolls me about the games I enjoy or the games I get hyped about. And he was really hyped about this, so I wanted to hate on it so badly. But when I played it, I fell in love with it. So let's look at some of these criticisms, because honestly, it felt like to me, having now played through the game and put about 100 hours into it, that a lot of these criticisms come from jaded reviewers who have just played one too many open world games. So does this game have any open world tropes? Well, technically it does, but it's done in such a refreshing way. It feels completely different. Boring story? Definitely not. I love the story about culture and tradition. Anyone who's come from any kind of cultural background will appreciate it. The game's story was tight and focused, the combat was engaging. There was a bit of criticism about lock-on, and at first I did agree, but ultimately I feel like a lock-on would really break the fluidity of the person-to-person combat. The game never felt bloated to me, and I'm someone who thinks anything over 20 hours is bloated. The game felt rewarding and it begged me to explore every corner of its beautiful fields. No farm or stone left unturned. It did feel like a lot of the reviewers came from the viewpoint of an open-world, jaded reviewer. I myself have not played many open world games at all, so maybe this increased my enjoyment of the game. Maybe it's my love of Japanese culture that did it.
They come from a culture that values honor and respect.
And Godzilla.
Godzilla!
Okay, guys.
Godzilla!
Some reviewers called the story too serious, but I feel the jokes that they currently have in the game are good enough. I mean, you don't need to go overboard on the comedy, otherwise you kind of ruin what is a very serious and very honest culture. The subtle humour in the game works, and it's enough to get the game by. I feel like anything more and it would have stuck out like a sore thumb. So overall, in my opinion, Ghost of Tsushima is criminally underrated, even against a rating of 87%. It serves as a wonderful swan song for the PlayStation 4. Playing it back at 60 FPS on the PS5 made me fall in love with Tsushima all over again. I just wish I could remember the controls quicker so I didn't suck so much in the background footage. Overall, Ghost of Tsushima is a light to solid 9 for me. Thanks so much for watching, we appreciate your time, take care, we will see you on stream or on the next video.